The latest chapter of One Piece pulls readers directly into the heart of the legendary land of Elbaf, a place long anticipated and filled with mystery. It's a realm steeped in the history of giants, bound by the pride and power of their warriors. As the Straw Hats navigate this foreign land, they uncover secrets that have been hidden for centuries and confront a darkness that could threaten everything. The cursed prince, Loki, emerges as a formidable and sinister figure, challenging the crew to face one of their most dangerous adversaries yet. This chapter is not just a continuation of the story, it's a revelation that shifts the very balance of power in the One Piece world. Make sure you don't miss any updates by subscribing and hitting the notification bell before we dive deeper. Now, let's break down Chapter 1130 titled The Cursed Prince. The cover story for Chapter 1130 sets a seemingly peaceful scene that quickly turns ominous. It features Yamato napping beside Otama under a sprawling ancient tree. Otama uses her hat as a pillow, while Yamato's arms rest across his chest, his breathing deep and calm. The peacefulness of the moment is interrupted by a mysterious shadow reaching towards Yamato's side. The caption reads, "They stole my sword while I was dozing." A hand, shrouded in darkness, grips the hilt of Yamato's blade, foreshadowing that even in tranquil moments, danger is never far away in the world of One Piece. This cover story sets the tone for the main chapter, where peace and danger lie side by side. The chapter begins with Frankie standing on the deck of the giant ship, his face showing both concern and determination. He addresses the gathered Straw Hats and giant warriors, his voice echoing through the chilly air. "The search has come to an end," he announces. "We've done everything we can. There's no sign of Luffy, Zoro, or Sanji. The best course of action now is to regroup at Elbaf and trust in our Nakama." The weight of his words brings a somber mood over the crew as they realize the reality of the situation. Dory and Brogy, the captains of the giant warrior pirates, are nearby with serious expressions, their massive forms casting long shadows. They nod in agreement, sharing the understanding that continuing the search would be futile. Robin steps forward, her voice soft but steady. "Luffy and the others have faced impossible odds before," she says, trying to instill hope. "We must believe they'll find a way back to us." Her tone carries a quiet strength that gives the crew some comfort. Jinbei, standing next to Robin, adds pragmatically, "I've reached out to the sharks in nearby waters to help with the search, but they found no trace of the others. We've exhausted our options here." His eyes reveal a deep sadness but also a resolve to keep moving forward. Brogy's booming voice breaks the silence, raising a fist in the air. "No more delays," he roars. "To Elbaf!" His declaration is met with shouts of agreement from the giants as they prepare the ship for the journey home. While the giants are excited about returning to Elbaf, the Straw Hats are uneasy about leaving their missing friends behind. As the Straw Hats and the giants prepare for their journey to Elbaf, Hadrudin reflects on the lessons he learned from his time with Luffy and the Straw Hat Grand Fleet. He recalls meeting Luffy back in Dressrosa, where he had to set aside his pride and rely on humans to defeat the Don Quixote family and free the island. This experience reshaped his perspective, making him realize the value of unity beyond species and kingdoms. As a giant warrior and the second prince of Elbaf, Hadrudin is returning home with a newfound understanding of what it means to lead and protect his people. His internal struggle is evident as he grapples with the expectations placed upon him by his royal bloodline and the loyalty he feels toward his newfound allies. The scene shifts to Luffy's group, who have just escaped the artificial world of Rhodes' diorama. The vast landscape of Elbaf unfolds before them, revealing a snowy forest that stretches for miles and a towering castle perched atop a distant mountain. The castle is connected to the colossal Yggdrasil tree by a long, winding bridge, with the tree's branches extending into the sky like a staircase to the heavens. The sheer scale of the environment leaves even Luffy in awe. "It's huge," Luffy exclaims, his voice filled with childlike wonder as his eyes dart between the mountain peaks and the enormous tree. The chill of the snow-covered ground is a stark reminder of the world outside the diorama. Usopp, less thrilled, shivers and wraps his arms around himself. "How is anyone supposed to get around in a place like this?" he grumbles. "The trees are the size of skyscrapers, and that castle, It's way up there. Nami pulls her coat tighter, scanning the forest with a wary eye. I'm getting dizzy just looking at everything, she admits, feeling small in the vastness of Elbaf. Two massive figures appear in the distance, approaching across the bridge from the castle. Luffy's eyes widen with excitement. Are those giants? He asks, taking a step forward, but Nami grabs his arm. Stop! What if they think we're trespassers? She whispers, pulling him back behind a nearby rock. We need to be cautious. As the group marvels at the enormity of Yggdrasil, Hadrudin shares stories about the tree's mystical properties. He explains that Yggdrasil is not just a symbol of strength for the giants. It is believed to connect all realms and serve as a source of life for Elbaf. According to legend, the tree's roots extend deep into the earth and even reach lands far beyond the known world. The giants draw strength from Yggdrasil, and it is said that when a warrior falls in battle, their spirit becomes one with the tree. This belief underlines why the tree is so revered among the giants and why it is central to their traditions and way of life. As the Straw Hats hide, the approaching giants, Gerd and Goldberg, continue their conversation. Gerd's frustration is clear as she rants about a fellow giant named Road. I still don't understand why Hadrudin let that weirdo join our crew, she grumbles. Her owl Piper sits perched on her shoulder, its wide eyes observing everything. Goldberg, a more laid-back giant, chuckles. Desuyo Gerd, it's because he's a skilled navigator, he replies, glancing sideways at her. Even if he's a bit eccentric. Gerd crosses her arms, clearly unimpressed. Eccentric? She scoffs. The guy locks people up in his weird diorama world and treats them like dolls. That's not eccentric, that's just sick. Her voice is heavy with disgust. Goldberg's expression grows serious. Desuyo, I agree, but Hadrudin finds him useful. If it were up to me, I'd keep him as far from Elbaf as possible. There's a hint of unease in his tone, suggesting that Rhodes' darkness runs deeper than anyone would admit. The giants' conversation touches on the history of humans in Elbaf, noting the long-standing distrust between the two races. Despite this, Hadrudin's time with the Straw Hats has shown him that not all humans are enemies, and he has come to appreciate the strength found in unity. However, this sentiment is not universally shared. Many giants still view humans with suspicion, believing that they bring trouble wherever they go. This tension adds to the unease surrounding Road and his disturbing actions, as some giants see his obsession with keeping human adventurers captive as proof that humans cannot be trusted. As the Straw Hats carefully cross the long suspension bridge, it sways slightly under their weight. They notice movement below in the forest, a pack of giant wolves with thick fur blending into the snowy landscape. Their eyes glow an unsettling amber, and their deep growls echo through the air. Chopper clutches his hat tightly, eyes wide with fear. Those wolves, they're huge, he whispers. If they come up here, we're in big trouble. Usopp's knees tremble as he peers over the edge. Giant wolves? He stammers, his face paling. Why did it have to be giant wolves? Nami speaks urgently, trying to stay composed. Just keep moving and don't look down. We have to get across before those wolves decide to come after us. She quickens her pace, her heart pounding in her chest. Sanji, however, is distracted as he glances back toward Gerd. I think I'm in love, he mutters, barely paying attention to the danger below. Zoro keeps his hand on the hilt of his sword, sensing the tension. Let them try something, he mutters confidently. I could use a little action. As the Straw Hats make their way across the bridge, Luffy suddenly halts, gripping the ropes. There is a strange, intense look in his eyes as he peers downward. There's something down there, he murmurs, his voice unusually serious. Something powerful. The rest of the crew stops and exchanges nervous glances. What are you talking about, Luffy? Zoro asks, his brow furrowing as he tries to sense whatever Luffy might be feeling. It feels like a scream, Luffy continues, his body tensing as he stares into the forest below. A powerful one. It's calling to me. Sanji steps closer, his gaze wary. Luffy, are you sure now's the time to go off on your own? There's no telling what's out there. Ignoring Sanji's warning, Luffy grins and leaps over the edge of the bridge, plummeting toward the snowy forest below. I'm gonna check it out. You guys go ahead, he calls back as he disappears into the trees. While Luffy ventures into the forest, the scene shifts back to the giant ship approaching Elbaf. Dory and Brogy, along with the other giants, gather around a massive wooden table in the ship's main hall. The atmosphere is tense as they discuss the state of their homeland. The focus quickly turns to the cursed prince Loki and the trouble his presence has brought. Dory slams his fist onto the table, causing the wood to shake. "The cursed prince has brought nothing but chaos to our land," he declares. "Loki is no ordinary giant. He's a monster who betrayed his own kin for power." Broggy clenches his jaw and adds, "Aye, and it's even worse now that he possesses the legendary devil fruit that our royal family guarded for generations." His eyes narrow as he speaks. "King Harold, his own father, was slain by his hands. That fruit should never have fallen into Loki's grasp." The giants murmur in agreement, their faces grim. There's a shared understanding that returning to Elbaf will not be the joyous homecoming they had hoped for. The cursed prince has cast a dark shadow over their land. The giants continue discussing Loki's crimes, revealing more about the Jotun no Mi's dark history. The fruit has been a closely guarded secret of the Elbaf royal family for generations, passed down as a last resort to protect the kingdom. Legends speak of a curse surrounding the fruit, claiming that any who wield its power are destined to bring chaos. This curse has now manifested in Loki, who used the fruit's power to slay his father, King Harold, and seize control of the royal lineage. His actions have tainted the legacy of the Jotun no Mi, leaving many giants to wonder if the legends were true all along. Meanwhile, Luffy lands in the forest, his feet sinking into the snow. He quickly spots the source of the powerful aura he sensed earlier. Ahead of him, chained to the ground with massive sea stone shackles, is Loki. The giant prince's menacing presence is unmistakable. His long hair flows like a mane, his muscular arms tattooed with ancient symbols. Though his eyes are covered by bandages, there is a palpable energy emanating from him. "Name yourself," Loki demands, his deep voice echoing through the forest. Luffy grins, his voice unwavering. "I'm Luffy, the man who will become the king of the pirates." His declaration echoes with the weight of his ambition. Loki's expression shifts, a sinister smile forming at the corner of his mouth. "King?" he repeats mockingly. "In this land, I am the one who will rule." He flexes his muscles, and the chains creak under the strain. "I am the sun god who will bring this world to its end." The mention of a sun god catches Luffy off guard. For a moment, he recalls the awakening of his own powers at Egghead and the implications of the sun god Nika. The title feels like a challenge Luffy cannot ignore. The mention of Luffy's actions stirs memories among the giants of how the Straw Hats saved Dory and Brogy back in Little Garden. For some giants, this act of heroism has earned the crew a level of respect, while others remain skeptical of their motives. The Straw Hats' reputation precedes them, with tales of their adventures spreading even to Elbaf's shores. Their history with giants adds another layer to the unfolding events, as some see them as harbingers of change, while others fear they may be yet another group of outsiders who will disrupt the natural order of things. The scene pans out to reveal Elbaf's breathtaking landscape, dominated by the colossal Yggdrasil tree. Its branches stretch across the sky, forming their own ecosystem with waterfalls cascading into the valleys below. The tree's massive roots anchor the island, symbolizing the strength and longevity of the giants. Within Yggdrasil's branches are ancient castles and majestic halls. Villages hang suspended in the air, and cannons are mounted to guard the land. A colossal sword, piercing through the tree's middle layer, adds to the mystical aura of the place. Robin's earlier mention of Yggdrasil hints at its significance, both as a literal structure and a representation of Elbaf's spirit. It is the heart of the island and the lifeblood of its people. The chapter concludes on a high note with Luffy and Loki locked in a powerful standoff. Elbaf's fate and the future of the giants rest in the balance, with the cursed prince representing a potential new era of chaos. As Luffy prepares to challenge Loki's claim of being the sun god, it's clear that this clash will go beyond a mere physical confrontation. It's a battle that could reshape the course of history itself.